Open it up.
Opening up. What's going on? The first ever show where I'm featuring the Diet Coke. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the to-go bottle. You already know. Oh, did you hear that? Wheat crack. This might be flat. Let's get a first sip. Hold on.
It was a soft one there. I already opened up my can earlier by accident.
The Diet Cokes don't fail either way. For the audio audience, we're glad to have you. But for the YouTube audience, you're the real ones. You're listening to the best show on the internet. This is Cold Ones Conversations. It's a pink day. It's a pink day. What it was not color coordinated. It was not talked about via text before the show. We both showed up and we said, "Hey, pink on pink. I like it." You're listening to
Shout out
Hollywood
Keller's
Hair,
beer. Obviously, we love Philly drinkers, but Keller's beer sponsor
Keller's
us
Beer.
too.
Honestly,
Pretty
that's
much, we pretty much kept you in business, if
we
I'm
kept you
being
in
honest.
business throughout COVID. Now,
Yeah.
listen, I was going in for the non-alcoholic side. I know that doesn't help you, but I was picking up the alcoholic side for the friends and family. I was getting the
Mhm.
Venmos, but I was going in and making the runs, the sober driver. All right, let's stick into it. I'm Hollywood Hair. I'm joined by Brendan the Bod Petrilli. Petrilli, how we doing today?
Doing well. Doing well. About to go head down to the Phillies game, watch the best team in ball play. But dude, real quick, real before we get into the best team in ball,
Yeah, I don't know about that, but keep
th
going.
this rain is absolutely absurd.
Unbelievable.
It's been like th 2, 3 weeks in a row now. We had a good
Nonstop.
stretch of days where it was super nice,
Yep.
but then it's like you can't get a fucking sunny day to save your life.
Dude,
It's bullshit.
I've been talking about it with
Uh,
everybody. It's like we can't. Oh, first one of the day.
yeah.
I can't. We've been doing good keeping the show. I mean, dude, Apple contacted us. They said we can take the E for explicit off. They said that. Now you're ruining our content. Um, dude, I've been saying the exact same thing. It's like in New Jersey, we can't get a single day of sunny weather. I mean, I get it. April showers bring May flowers, but we're halfway through May. I mean,
Freaking
can we
Bay.
get yeah? Can we get some sun
These
in
flowers
here?
are drowning with all the
Yeah, dude,
water they're
they
getting.
are. They
Like,
are, man. But listen, we'd rather have some precipitation than it be dry like it was last year.
but
Let's get
today's
yeah.
episode, everybody, we'll bring it back full circle. We're going best teams in ball, the O's, the
Yep.
Fightins, best teams in the league. We'll go a little NBA talk. We got a couple game sevens. Harry's got a big future on the NHL. Maybe he'll talk about that, but who knows? And
I
then
know.
Are You Dumb? Everybody's favorite segment. Some people are
Yep.
more dumb than other people on this podcast. I won't say who, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And then wrap it up with some NFL talk because schedules are out. It's a weird thing that it's a big deal, but hey, it's here. We know when the Ravens and the Birds are playing, we're all got to make our way down there this year. So we'll get into it here, Hollywood Hair. But the best teams in ball, man,
Best
the
teams in
O's and
ball.
the Fightins, they keep
They're
cooking.
there. Yeah, they
They,
do.
they keep cooking right along. Like these teams are deep. They're young enough. The Phillies got the superstars. The O's got the up and coming superstars. Like these teams they're electric to watch. I'll throw both games on. I'll have the one on the one TV and the other on the other TV. Maybe
Yep.
put it on the
Yep.
iPad. You got to watch these teams right now. They can't miss. Like you
Yeah.
have to watch every game. That's how great these teams are right
Yeah.
now.
Dude, it's been crazy. I mean, again, going back to the first episode when we started talking about a few weeks ago, talking about going into the MLB season, we started talking about how both of our teams were getting off to slow starts. How's it going to be? And dude, they are now leading the pack. I mean, you're talking about the 1 and the 3 in the league, dominating ball. We're going to get into the Yankees in a little bit. We're talking Phils and O's right now. These guys can't be stopped, dude. Defense has been tremendous. Pitching has been lights out at times. Some games not as good as we want it, but lights out in most. And let's just talk about it, dude. Can the hitting be matched? I mean, I think we're looking at the.
Both these
I
teams are
mean,
scoring 5+ runs a game.
a game, a
Like
game.
it's automatic. If they don't
Yeah,
score more than 5 runs, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
that's
have they
exactly
lost
right.
it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No,
and
but
that's
literally,
crazy. Yeah.
and that is crazy to think about. Is that we're not having those 1 to 3 clinchers where you're going 9 innings and you're just trying to find the ball where your bats are fighting for it. Dude, our bats don't have to fight for it. They're just finding their spots. I think that the only thing that can screw us up is that, when we're in the outfield, can we make those grabs that we need to, knowing that everybody knows their assignments? But let's stick on the Phils here for a minute, dude. You guys are number one overall in the league. 32 wins, 14 losses. And I mean, right now, dude, I think there's a clear difference between the way of style of ball that you are playing absolutely compared to Atlanta. And I think that there's a gap that you can exploit. It's not as big, but a gap that you can exploit between you and the Dodgers because the Dodgers have had that slow start. Now they got 30 wins in the bank, which is absolutely comparable. It's great. They're an all-star. We know that they're going to be a World Series contender. Nobody's joking around here on that. But the Phillies can get something going, and we're very early in season. We're only 45 games in. But still, Trill, tell me about what you think that this gap that I really think offensively, but even pitching-wise, LA's had a lot of trouble pitching early in season. Very, hard. They've had some games tossed because of how bad their pitching has been.
Dude,
And you guys haven't.
That's the biggest thing is the Phillies pitching is lights out. You got horses on the mound. The Phillies are throwing the most amount. Their starting pitchers are throwing the most amount of innings in the major leagues. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing to start the year, I don't know. But when you look at it, Zach Wheeler, maybe the best pitcher in baseball right now. I mean, that guy he'll get you 200 plus innings every single time. Right. Aaron Nola, absolute horse, 200 plus innings every single time his whole career. And then Ranger Suarez is butting into another superstar pitcher for this Phillies team. All Phillies fans have kind of known Ranger's got that swagger, and he's just so cool, calm, and collected. He doesn't throw hard. He'll hit 92, 93, but it's in and out. Hit the curveball, hit the changeup. He's a pitcher. These Phillies are pitchers. They're not throwers like a lot of these other teams have, throwing 99 plus with their starting rotation. The Phillies have guys that know how to command the zone and know how to get outs. I mean, and they're just absolutely dominating ball right now. My biggest thing is where you kind of hear it with this Phillies hot start is, oh, they haven't played a team over 500 yet. What are they supposed to do? It's the schedule. I said on this podcast, I said, I could see the Phillies winning 30 games, and that's what they did. Just looking at the schedule, all the teams that they had lined up to start the year. But my biggest thing when it comes to that, right, is Nola and Wheeler and Suarez and Turnbull and Sanchez and the bullpen. They've all been great in the pitching wise, going deep into games, getting consistent outs. You know what you're getting from the starting rotation. The bullpen can be a little shaky here and there depending on the starts, but when it comes down to it, back in the day, last year, the year before that, everybody's like, "Oh, the Phillies got a slow start. The Phillies they can't catch the Braves now, this and that." Well, they finally got out to a hot start here, and they're not just beating these bad teams. They're sweeping them in 3-4 game series.
Yeah.
It's not taking 1 or 2, losing a series. They haven't lost back-to-back games in over 2 weeks, dog. This team is good. It's not the Phillies of old where, hey, they have a bad series here or there. They go out there and they expect to win every single night, and I love that. Night. Yeah. Because when you got Ed Luz Diaz out in the mound, and the Mets fans think they're going to get a win in New York City, and Bryson Stott comes up and ropes a homer over the right field fence, and then he just can't remember how to throw strikes anymore, and he plunks the go-ahead run in. These guys don't quit. They are always on the ball. They always expect to win. And that starts with Bryce Harper. That starts with Kyle Schwarber, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and the veterans on this team, the superstars on this team. And that's why this Phillies team is different. They've been there. They've done that. They've gotten close. They know they can get there. They are on a mission to get this done this year. And it's going to be so much fun. They're going to win 100-plus games. They just are. Unless there's big injuries. This team they might set the record for the most wins in Phillies franchise history, over 102. They can easily get up into the close to 110. The way they're playing ball right now, I'm that pumped about this team.
I get it, dude. I mean,
we might clip this in a couple months and it looks ugly.
And it's a dumpster fire, and you only got 30 wins in the win column, right? Yeah. But going back to that point, dude, of what I started this off before you went on that rant, which is facts.
We don't fact check, but those are facts.
But those are facts. And by the way, we got to bring up our newest show, Con, which you didn't start off with, who's dead this week? Who's dead this week? Remember last week we were talking about Lakers dead. We got to talk about who's dead. But
I got one coming up for the NBA talk.
I do too. I got one coming up as well. Dude, my point of what I was making is the difference right now is your pitching. And that's what I brought up to start this. And I think that late in season, that's what's held you back before. It was sometimes hiding the ball, not capitalizing on your, for example, right? Last year when we take the O's, what held the Orioles back? Wasn't their pitching. Everybody knew that their pitching wasn't there. but it was their batters in that Texas series, in that Texan series, not finding the spots that we needed to find when we had runners in scoring positions, runners on second, getting that infield bat in, getting a home run when we needed it, pushing the limits, getting it home, right? For the Phillies, what I think it's been is, can your arms last? And I think that you've got a good point about it, that you're sitting on the middle, that you don't know whether your starting lineup of rotation they've thrown the most, is that a good thing or bad thing? Right now, it's a good thing because you're dominating and you're showing that there's a difference between, again, yourself and LA, who LA should be the top. Like, LA should be the top. There's no question about it compared to everybody in the league right now, all the way from their bats to their pitching. I mean, come on, dude. And they're not.
We
And
might have to go player by player in an episode coming up. I want to hear your talk, or maybe bring somebody else in and just go player by player.
I'd
Phillies,
love to do that.
Dodgers,
I'd love to
Phillies,
do that.
Braves. You know,
Yeah, and then, because the other thing that I want to talk about is, I really think, and we're going to get into it on the O side, about this in-division rival in the Yanks. I think that right now the comparable to the O's is the Yanks, and I never thought that going into it, but the Yanks have impressed me.
the Yanks are
They're
good.
they're
They're a
they're
good ball
good.
team too.
They're
They're
good.
very
They're
good.
keeping it.
Soto has really brought out something that they've
Yes,
been
he had.
missing
That's
on that
exactly what I
team.
was. Yes,
Like,
that
it's
young
another
thrive.
star for Judge, where Stanton was supposed to be that guy, but it just can't stay on the field. Where Soto's that legit superstar. You know,
I'm burying this Diet Coke, if you couldn't tell.
you're done it already. Yeah.
Yeah, we've only been going for 5. But dude, just to wrap up this Phillies talk, and again, another transition that I see, we've talked so much about it. Obviously, this is a Baltimore and Philadelphia podcast, Philadelphia Baltimore podcast, and we talk about the similarities that we see both in our ball clubs, on the football squad and in the MLB. But you look at it, man, and the way that you describe the schedule of wins is the same as the O's. And I think that the difference is, man, is that the reason why I said that's not a hot take, but I meant that in a complimentary way. I think that you're just stating a fact. The way that the Phils are playing right now, they should be a triple-digit win column team. They are dominating the boards. They need to make sure that they can keep this. They need to have guys like Bryce be able to find their spots all the way through. You've paid the right guys, right? And if your arms can keep up, at the end of the day, here's what it comes down to. The Phils are always going to be able to score. If your arms can keep up, you're going to get that 100.
My last take on the Phillies here before we move in
Yeah.
forward. The Phillies have been without what teams, Harry, could win and have 30, the most wins in baseball, missing your leadoff hitter and shortstop that's making $300 million, and Trey Turner. Missing your that he's your 2-hole hitter. Your leadoff hitter and Kyle Schwarber was out for a week and a half.
Yep.
Who hits you 50 bombs, 40 bombs.
Yep.
JT Realmuto's been out for a week or two now. He's back now, but with some knee problems.
Yep.
Bryce Harper was out for a little bit with the baby and a back, and this team continues to win. They're deep, they're good. It doesn't matter who's out there. They expect that level. When Amundo, Sosa, Whit Merrifield, Rojas, and Pache, when these guys make the field, they touch that grass at the bank. They're expected to be excellent. They're expected to be great, and that's what makes this team so special. Is to go through those early struggles where you could be like, "Hey, Kyle, I know your back's bothering you a little bit. You can sit it out. Sit for a day or two. We got this. Like, it'll be all right. JT, your knee's bothering you. Garrett Stubbs can go and catch a couple, because the standard doesn't drop. And that's what great baseball teams are about. And I think as we move forward throughout the summer here, you were kind of talking about the in-division rivalries. I think that's what's going to make the Yankees and the O's great. That's what is going to make the Phillies and the Braves so great. Because these teams are fighting for excellence. They're fighting for perfection throughout the season to be that best team. And having those in-division rivalries where you like, hey, what did they do already in May, right?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta keep an eye on it. They're gonna be chasing each other's tail for the whole season. Where the Phillies and O's, they really haven't been in those positions the last couple of years. The O's, they were able to run away with it, but the Yankees weren't at that level last year that they are now. Where I think honestly the Dodgers, they're probably just gonna run away with it, and then they're gonna get to the playoffs and they're gonna get whitewashed by a Phillies or a Braves.
I think that's a very good take, because I think that the difference is that we're having conversations right now about 3 particular teams, in the Orioles, the Yankees, and the Phils, that you would usually be having in July, and we're having them in May. We're seeing things in these 3 teams right now. They're sparks that usually are coming out in that midsummer stretch, that, okay, you're seeing who the all-stars are. You're seeing who's making the big plays. at the bases, and you're seeing who's making the big plays with their arms throughout, no matter who it is, whichever team it is. That again, you're seeing during that summer stretch when you've got 60 plus games under your belt, and you're talking about, okay, can we see a playoff contender? We already know who playoff contenders are right now. I mean, we knew it going in that the Orioles were going to make it. We knew it going in that the Phillies were going to make it. We didn't know that about the Yanks. We now know that the Yanks are going to be a playoff team. I feel very solid in saying
Yeah,
that.
you always knew they were going to be around, but you didn't think they were going to make this step that they've
That
made this year.
exactly. And so I think that you're right, man. I think I could absolutely see. I mean, dude, you go down to the National League right now. At some point or another, Arizona can get hot, and Arizona could take out the Dodgers. Arizona's got a good ball club. Now they don't have the best. They've got the best, record right now. They're below
Yeah,
500. They're
they're a
21-24,
decent team,
but they've got talent.
and they
They've
were
got
there. They
talent.
made a run last year.
That's right. And you've got teams like Milwaukee, again, who can step up and make a play. And Atlanta, though I was knocking Atlanta, I'll say it again. They absolutely can step up in a sense of taking out a team like the Dodgers. Now, I think that every team that I just noted, the Phillies are better than it. I'm not just saying that the level of play that they're playing at, they've got the better record. There's no question about it. They are better than those teams. But to the point that I was making about the Dodgers, you're absolutely right, dude. They're in that position where we know with the talent, if they don't make the playoffs, it's the biggest blunder since the Brooklyn Nets brought in Kyrie, Harden, KD, so on and so forth. They will make the playoffs, but they're going to get whitewashed 100%. All right, let's jump into some O's talk, dude, because I want to get as from an outside perspective. I'm going to lay out my court case of how I was so excited, then got nervous, and then fully back to being excited. Okay, of all these transitions so far, the 45 games. So obviously, completely excited. We'll start with number one. Orioles, best team in baseball last year. Number one spot in the overall league, number one spot in the American League. Host gets swept, but fine, whatever. We got these young guns. Let's do it. Let's grab it. Let's go for it. We're great. Start the season. We're doing awesome. And we bring up Jackson Holiday. Then we put back down Jackson Holiday. And I'm like, now we go to the nervous side. Now we're on the trajectory of going downhill. And the reason why I say that isn't because do I think that the Orioles need Jackson Holiday to win? No, I don't. I don't at all. We've proven that we don't need him to win. We got Gunnar Henderson, okay, down in Towson. If you're a true fan of the show, you know what comes next. But we're a PG show now, so we're not talking
Gunner's
about
hitting bombs, and
Gunner is crazy right now. You've got Santan, you've got Rushman, you've got Mayo, you've got Mullins. I can go on and on and on and on. You got Matt Castle making real plays. You got Hayes, who's still, he's not that breakout star, but he's a leadership of the locker room, right? And we're going to get into the pitching changes that we've made in a moment. But I want to talk about this young threshold because Holiday is supposed to be this guy he's going to be, I think, a generational talent. But when you bring up a guy like that and then you put him right back down because he can't find his hit, dude, we're talking, this is the top play. And you're playing against the top teams when you're Baltimore now in the schedule that we have. If the kid can't find the ball for 10 games, he can't find the ball. Give him a chance. And what I worry about is, dude, I'm not trying to go too in depth with it or act too soft mentally about something. But you've got to remember, this kid is not 22. He's 20. He's not 25. You can mess with this kid mentally. Yeah. If you bring him up and then you're like, you're not good enough, you're going back down. Like, he's not graduated college yet, level H. He's still learning about himself. Boys don't become men mentally until they're 25. We know this. It's science. Your brain's not developed. So you're going to put him at the top and then you're going to drag him down. That made me really worried. But now where I'm back on the threshold is Holiday seems to be thriving back in our single A
or
triple A.
So I'm looking at it right now.
Well, he's thriving in the sense of how good he's wearing the clothes. I didn't need you to fact check. I know he's not doing that great.
I pulled it up, so I was just because I wanted to see.
He's like,
did that mess with him? And looking at it, last 15 games, 0.059,
it's not been great.
111 OPS, no homers, 1 RBI, 2 walks.
It's not been great.
Strikeouts.
It's not been great. And
he came up and he was hot, and they were like, okay, let's go. And baseball is a funny game like that, and it can really mess with you.
Well, baseball, but here's the point. It's so funny. I was reading this Colin Cowherd's book that he wrote a couple of years ago. Baseball is the biggest individual mental game of any sport, because you're paying a guy that you can say take 15 games off but we're still going to pay $100 million.
Mm.
Take 15 straight games off if you want. Now, LeBron can sit for maybe 7 games during the season, but he's not sitting for 7 games straight in a row. You know what I'm saying? You can do that with a pitcher. You can do that with a batter. My point of what I'm saying here is I think that Holiday will bounce back, and I'm going to go to why my roller coaster is going back up for the O's in a moment. But I think you got to be very careful with that, especially when you're dealing with a kid as young as Holiday, because dude, the kid, if he wanted to, could still go back and play college ball. We're talking about a young prospect here. We're talking about a young talent here. We're talking about a kid. We're not talking about a professional athlete yet. There's a difference. And so you've got to be really thinking about that with all the talent that we have. I think the O screwed that up, but let's talk about the good. Dude, do we have stat makers or do we have stat makers? I mean, oh my God. Let's get into the pitching changes real quick. Can we talk about how great it was to bring Burns into our pitching room?
That was a great move.
I mean, this guy cannot be stopped. The 245 pounder. He'd be in the heavyweight division in the UFC, dog. And he's throwing like one. He doesn't care, dog. First of all, the way that he wears the white uniform, he looks like Cal Ripken out there. I'm just going to say that. The way that he can wear the Orioles white, it's just beautiful. I love it. I dig it. Irvin's been obviously great. And we've had that solid rotation, right? Of having the right guys in the right spots. I can never say his name right, but Kramer, as I always call him, but that's not his name. Dean Kermer, dude. We just have dudes that can throw the ball really well, and they don't get tired. What I think,
baby, let's go.
Cole Irvin can do his thing. What I think is the big difference maker. What I think is the big difference maker is coming down to what you just said. Gunnar is emerging as this team's $100 million plus player.
That guy is.
I mean,
100 million, 300 million, dog.
That's what I'm saying, dog. He's the legacy of our team. He can make every play at the bat. He can send it out of the stadium. He can send it to the fans. He can send it to the bases. He can put whoever he needs on. Rutschman still commanding that catching position. You've got obviously Mullins being that core leader that we've needed. Guys like Mateo Santander still doing his thing. A beefcake in those pants. Oh, just want to squeeze those cheeks. But God, can these kids play? So where I'm just throwing it out, dude, is where I now really think it's going to happen. And I'm going to the series in June against the Yanks. It's a Wednesday night game. We clearly now see that it's the young Bucks in the American League East versus the emerged superstars in the Yankees, who are both great at the bat. That have got now the Yanks have got pitchers who are still sidelined right now that I would argue are still better than us, but they're sidelined, so we're not going to give them those stats. I think it's going to come down to who can make the better plays at bat, because I would argue that our pitching is extremely similar right now. And dude, I'm just gonna say it. We saw how good the Orioles batting can go late in season. We haven't seen that yet from the Yanks. I know for a fact that the Orioles are gonna make playoffs. I think that they're gonna be a 95+ win team. I don't know if they're gonna be triple digits. I don't know if you can do that back-to-back years. But I'm still thinking that we're gonna be the #1 team in the American League.
Yeah, no, I like the O's. The O's are going to be a really solid team. That Burns pickup is huge. If they can kind of figure Holiday out and get him ready by September to be not a starter, hey Jackson, every other game or so, fill in and get that confidence going for him into the playoff, get him that experience like they did with all these young guys last year. I think that'll be a big thing. My last question here, it can be negative or positive, however you take it. How do you like the Craig Kimbrell experience so far?
Yeah, I think that's a loaded question.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher at times, and then all of a sudden you're just like, what the hell just happened here? Because I liked Craig. Craig was great for the Phillies last year. Up until about, I don't know, late July. They gave him a light show when he's coming out, and then all of a sudden he ran out of gas and forgot how to pitch and blew almost every save down the stretch.
So you notice I didn't bring him up when I was talking about the
Yeah.
pitchers.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah. So I think that, dude, it just comes down to
Because what, Batista is the guy, right?
right,
Who hurt his
exactly.
knee or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And Krimberg, the thing about it from your guys' side is um, I think the Orioles thinking from bringing what's his name from Atlanta to be our pitching coach is obviously when he was playing for the Phillies, Krimberg didn't have that late in season stretch
Bro.
that Kimbrel, excuse me, that you guys needed him to have. You're the name man here. I'm not. Everybody knows that about me. I'll forget a name left and right. Sometimes I don't even remember my own. Um,
Hollywood.
we I think that we brought in certain coaches to maybe get the best out of him. I mean, not obviously specifically him, the whole coaching room, the whole staff and talent that we have. I think that our hope is that he can give relief during these summer games and during these late stretches into July, August, September. But right now, dude, you're seeing him, and it's like, dude, sometimes there seems to be as good of pitchers on the A's. I mean, I'll be honest as him. I don't know if he's a talent that can keep up when we're talking about playing teams like Milwaukee, like the Yankees, like the Phillies, like the Dodgers. And at some point, Burns is going to need some relief because we need to keep Burns as long as we can to have some juice. And that means that sooner or later, he's got to take some more games off. That's going to be that summer stretch. And I don't know, man. We got to see more of what pans out. He doesn't have a long enough stretch for me to form an opinion. But right now, what I've seen is that we need more out of him. Is
Yeah,
the
he's
answer.
not an everyday guy anymore.
No,
He's
no.
not a save opportunity every time that's him. It's just not. He can do it, but he can go
Yeah,
get you a save, but it can't be every night.
that's right.
It's got to be
That's right.
3 out of 7, I feel like, for him at this point in his career. So you
That's
don't
right.
burn him out. But yeah, it's a long season. We're pumped about the O's. We're pumped about the Fightins. I'm going to the game. This episode's coming out right away on Saturday, and I'm going to be hitting the door once I press send on that YouTube and to post this thing. I'm going right down there. So if you're listening to this on the way to the ballpark, hit me up. I'll be down in M Lot. We're gonna have some fun today. Hopefully
Hold
this
it down,
rain
M
gets the
lot.
fuck out of here. But yeah, yeah. So we'll move on. It's a long season. What isn't a long season now at this point? It's coming down to a couple game sevens here in the NBA playoffs.
Dude, let's talk about it, dude. It has been, I mean, maybe Colin Cowherd was right not to reference him again. Second name drop. Colin Cowherd put us on the volume. Cole wins conversation in the volume. I've never heard of it. I mean, we'd be better than Draymond. But my point is, dude, maybe the league really has made a transition because you're looking at this, dude, and these kids are I mean, New York has let the Pacers back in. Minnesota will not be denied. They will not be denied. They are pushing full gears to the basket.
That
They
was a
are
really
ready to go
weird
for it.
series. We'll get to that, but keep going.
We are. We will get to it. And I think that, we were talking off air before we started the show. I think there's a very good chance that we're going to see a 7-game series, Oklahoma City and Dallas right now. Obviously, Dallas is leading that series. Oklahoma, though they're on the road, they've shown that they can get the job done on the road in the past. Dude, there is a lot of young talent right now in the NBA that's just emerging. And you look at this Minnesota team, obviously being the one that I think has the most youth that's ready to pop to become a superstar. Oklahoma's definitely got the most youth. They're not there yet, the way that Edwards is,
Well,
right?
Hey, dog. What did I tell you about that Mavs team? I told you a couple months ago. That Mavs team can go on a run here.
That Mavs team can go on a run, and they're probably going to be in a Game 7 back in Oklahoma City.
We'll see. They win
Yeah, we'll
tonight.
see. Yeah, if
They
they
take
win
care of
tonight,
business, Luca and Kyrie, and they're on to the Western Conference Finals.
I'm
Who's
gonna.
going to be right?
Let
This
me
guy.
tell you. Let me tell you something, dog. Let me just tell you something right now. If this Dallas team goes against Minnesota, they're done. They'll be done in 5.
I don't know, dog. I think that'd be a good series. They both play a lot of defense.
They'll be
Dallas
done in
Mavericks
5.
they have taken a next step where I was questioning them earlier in the year about whether they can play defense. I know they got guys that can score. Luca and Kyrie can go get you 50 each, but they needed another guy or two to step up, and they've been getting it. They've been locking it down on defense there. They've locked down this young team in OKC.
No, you're 100% right. Listen, Kyrie for the first time in his career is showing that he can actually be a good two-way player. And that's very impressive that in the latter part of his career, where he's kind of descended from that superstardom, where he's always been a superstar, but where he's been what's the room that Nick, what's his name? With Chris Broussard, their show that it's on Fox. And you got the Superstar Club room. They make that graphic on Fox Sports. It's super cool. How Kyrie's kind of descended from it, but now he's coming back up. Dude, a big reason
Club
from
Shay
that is
Shay or
that
something like that.
no, not it's Nick, whatever his name is, with Chris Broussard.
Yeah, Nick
And they have
Wright.
the
He
show.
sucks.
Nick Wright. Yeah, I love that. Nick Wright. Yeah, he sucks. No, but like my point of what I'm making here is Kyrie has shown not only is he still that baller that played with the Cavs that had that championship winning shot, but dude, now he can lock guys up. I mean, he can lock guys up. And you're right, dude, Dallas is the real deal. But I'm going to tell you something, man. This Oklahoma City team and their youth of what's the phrase that I always use when we come NFL time? Act like you what? Act like you've been there before, know how to be there before. Oklahoma has no idea of how to be there before, and they're playing against veteran superstars, dude, and they are forcing them to work. I don't believe in Dallas right now. I really don't, because dude, you're playing against the youngest team in the NBA right now. I got more faith in where Oklahoma is going to be in the next 2 years than I do right now in Dallas, just because of this.
Sure, in 2 years,
Because
sure, yeah. But right now, I'm taking Kyrie and Luca all day, every day
All
over
right.
Shea and Chet, 100%.
Well, I would take that bet too, except that the series isn't
Right
over
now,
yet.
yeah. Well, we'll
I would.
see.
We'll
It's
see.
gonna happen tonight. I'm taking the Mavs tonight. That's lock of the day.
Are we? Oh, that's lock of the day. All right, we're
Yeah.
throwing out locks already. Maybe we'll throw a little parlay together off to the side. We're not going to give that one to the fans. They got to come back for more. We don't
Yeah,
give
go
them all away
follow
for
us on
free.
Twitter and Instagram and everything. Make sure you go follow the IG, our boy Kieran. We forgot to plug it
He's
earlier,
all.
but he's
Yep.
been cutting up the clips for us. They've been great. We appreciate him a lot. So go give us some love over there. We're trying to build this up, keep going for sure. But yeah, a couple other game sevens here, Harold. Pacers, Knicks.
Dude.
The Knicks, I thought that after they take the first two, they fall apart. Then they got that game 5 win. I was thinking,
Yep.
okay, fine. The Knicks, they got this. Last night, I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I was out, but
I just watched the highlights and they were ridiculous.
yeah.
They were
The this
ridiculous.
Pacers team's they're not a bad squad. What do you think of the whole Knicks situation here where they are banged up? But is that because of the minutes that the coach has been putting on them, or are they just the injury prone
Yeah.
players at this point?
No, I think it's the minutes, and I think that what it just is that I think that the Knicks know that they're better, but they don't have that guy that says, "Okay, let's go out and let's close this." They
I
don't have a
mean, Jalen
LeBron,
Brunson's pretty
but
damn
Jalen.
close, dog.
No, he's not. Well, let me rephrase that. Jalen Brunson absolutely is there, but he is not that dog like a Giannis. He is not that dog
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
LeBron. He is not that dog like a
He's
Luca.
he's he's
He
right
is
below.
not that dog. And notice, I'm not saying Tatum because Tatum hasn't done this yet either.
Yeah, I agree.
Where you can go out and say, let's just close this. Let's close this. Let's get it done. Let's close this. Let's have it over. And that's because also he shouldn't be there yet. Brunson should be one of the best two players on any team.
Yeah.
Right now he's being forced to be a one. What I think is odd is that, to your point, I think that the minutes that they've been put on them to get to this point where they're at in the East, to get that high position, right, in the top three, in the East, it's now having Indiana to be able to get these spots. Now, does New York win tonight in New York? Absolutely, they win, and I think that they win with a 15-point plus lead. But you look at that, dude, and that going into a Boston series, this series going to a game 7 against Boston is not good. Now, for me, it's good because I have Boston winning the East also in that future, but I'm not going any more in detail of what you referenced because we put it out into the show, it might not happen, and I feel good. Okay.
Mhm.
But I have Boston winning the East. Everybody had Boston winning the East. But Indiana, dude, I think that they've gotten to a game 7 purely out of luck because they suck. They suck.
They're a put together ball team. They don't have any superstars, but they all play well together.
Yeah.
When you got guys like TJ McConnell out there getting heavy minutes in big situations, I love TJ. Process guy. I love TJ McConnell to death. I would love him on the Sixers. But having him as a focal point where people are saying, we need more TJ McConnell out there, like
That's bad. That's bad.
that's not great,
Yeah. That's
Like
bad, dog.
So my two takes on the Knicks here for this. If the Knicks lose this game, bing bong, you guys suck dick. Fuck you.
Come on,
There
Trill.
goes the
Come
explicit back up on the pod.
Come
But
on, dog.
bing bong,
Okay.
you guys can only win one. You can only whatever. The Sixers suck too, but
Yeah.
that's besides the
Yeah,
point.
exactly, bro.
Bing bong. I thought you guys were gonna sweep them in four. This and that. They were the best team ever. Or if they do win this game, I might go heavy on the Nova Knicks again. I might get on the bandwagon. I might because screw Boston at this point. Okay, I might go heavy on the Nova guys. Josh
No,
Hart's got he's a
no.
dog.
We're rolling Boston.
What?
I got big
No,
money
no,
on the
I'm not.
line. We
I
are
told you I
rolling
can. I'm never
Boston.
going with that. No, you can do whatever you want, but
No, that's
I said
fine.
this is a
But
possibility. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but I might flip reverse 180 and
you got
just
to
go
stay
in on
out
the
of it,
Knicks.
though. You just got to stay out of it.
All right, that's probably where I'm gonna go. But these are my thought processes. It's either screw the Knicks, we stay out of it, or we go heavy on the Nova Knicks. Those are my situations here. We ride Brunson, we ride DiVincenzo, we ride Hart, and maybe we'll see. But screw the Knicks at the same time.
I feel you.
It'd be nice to get a loss there. And it would be quite funny, honestly. At the Garden too. Fuck that.
It would be crazy.
All right, last game 7 here, which is an interesting one. We were talking about him a little bit earlier, but what's up
T-Wolves.
with Denver? I mean, Minnesota's a good team, but once they came back and they took those 2 games after they lost the first 2, I thought, oh, this is over. The Nuggets are back. They figured it out. But credit to this Minnesota team being able to bounce back. Anthony Edwards has really grown into his own, like you were saying, and he's been able to
Yeah.
take that step as a leader where teams like that have folded in the past. And
Well,
once they
yeah.
they 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 get figured out, they've been able to make the adjustments after the adjustments.
Here's the truth. What we've seen through this series now Minnesota's got to win on the road tonight for what I'm about to say to be proven to be true, fully true. But I'm going to go and say it. We've seen that if you can match the Knicks or if you can match Denver defensively, they lose. They lose. If you can match them on the floor and say, I'm going to be in your face, I'm going to lock you down. Most importantly, I'm going to get the boards. I'm going to stop you from having second chances on every other shot. If you can do that, Denver doesn't have it. Because you look at what they've won, dude. They won a championship against one of the worst defensive teams in Boston ever. Ever. Now, they still won a title, and that matters. They won a title. They're better than Boston has been. And everybody tries to say that Boston's the best team ever. They're not the best team ever. They've only made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, can never get it done. Made it to the NBA Finals. Golden State still beat them.
Lost to the Sun or no. Keep
Lost
going.
to the Warriors.
Warriors. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was
Yeah,
just saying.
yeah. My bad.
My point just is that if you match this Denver team defensively, they don't have anywhere to go. And Minnesota has built their foundation on what, in my opinion, on what Giannis built his foundation on to win his title against the Suns is. You can have a better shooting team with better guards. But if I've got length and I've got defense and I slow roll you, I will win. It'll be a slow bleed and it's going to be hard on me, but I'm going to come out and I'm going to win this. And that is what Minnesota is doing. Now, the test is they're going on the road. And Denver, dude, Denver is becoming a basketball town. They
I
fill
hope
that
so. You got
stadium,
the best
bro.
player in basketball. You just won a championship. I hope you would.
No, but they fill, yeah, but you've also got him saying, I have to go home and ride the horses.
Yeah.
So my
Well, I mean, you got the best team in basketball the last year and a half now. Like, I would hope you would be a basketball town.
They're a hard place to play in. I think that this is going to be a test for Minnesota. I think that Minnesota steps up here. I like Minnesota here, dude. I mean, what's the line right now? It's -4. It's -4.5 for Denver.
Yeah.
I would take Minnesota to win outright.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the one thing is you're right. They do bet you have to match Denver defensively and make Jokic try to be athletic.
Yes.
When you let him slow it down and pick you apart, he can do it all day, every day.
He can do it all day. You're
But
right.
when you get out and run on him and you're making him move and look like a baby giraffe, that's when he gets lost. He does. He
It's
he
like
doesn't
how
know what
you
he's
were.
doing.
It's like how you were.
He's a
before
baby
your
horse
injury.
out there, like
before the foot injury in sevens, when you would say, Doc, I'm playing 10. You'd be out there, Jokic in it, stepping up, throwing bombs. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. You take 3 or 4 kids down with your shoulder movement, you throw it back out. But
Don't
then
let
if
it, don't
guys
let him
lock,
pick you apart and make
yeah,
him a dynamic. You put some pressure on him, and then it gets ugly. He throws some passes away.
yep,
It gets a little frustrated that you've never really seen him show before.
yep.
So I think those are the two big keys for them in this game tomorrow night.
Well, and the thing that I also thought was so interesting is that everybody was wanting to praise Jokic and praise Denver when they were like, look at how he just dropped 40 against what's his name? Against, 2 games ago, against Defensive Player of the Year on
Gobert.
Minnesota, on
Yeah.
Gobert. And then the next game, they lose by 35 points.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like, don't hop on the bandwagon. You might have dropped 40 in the next game. Your team lost by 35.
Yeah. That's another thing with these playoffs. These series in particular, the last two we talked about, none of the games have really been close.
No.
Teams have been winning by
Blowouts.
10 plus every single game. Like, and it's not
Blowouts.
even like fourth quarter pull away. It's been fourth quarter doesn't matter in a lot of
Yeah.
these games. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes here. I think I'm going. ugh, I'm gonna go Pacers, Minnesota. Let's go both upsets, and we're going Dallas tonight. That's where I'm going with to
I'm
wrap up
going,
this
I'm
NBA
going
talk.
two dogs, one fave. I'm going Oklahoma, Knicks, Minnesota.
All right. All
Straight
right.
up and straight down.
We'll
All
see
right,
what
dude.
happens.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, let's hit a little Are You Dumb here? Am I dumb?
Okay.
We'll keep it quick. We'll move into some NFL talk and we'll get on our way here. Thank you everybody for listening. Hit that subscribe button. Always follow us, all that jazz. But yeah, am I dumb here, Harry?
Do it.
Last week there was the whole I like to think I've gotten better with social media and stuff like that, learning the ins and outs of stuff. But when people would put on their stories and it's just like tap in and show your toughest picks from college or whatever,
Yeah, you don't do those.
I don't know how to do them. You try to click it and it just goes to the next story. Trust me, I would do it. I got some badass pictures, but like you try to click it and it won't like pop up for me to add the picture. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong? Like I don't know. Like, so am I dumb? Like
I'm
I
not
do
even going to
social
tell you
media
how
for a
to.
living at this point, like for work, and I have no idea how this works.
I'm
No
not even
clue.
going to tell you. You got to figure that. That's crazy. I love how
You I thought you like press it and like you like add it to your story or whatever, but that's
that's
just
funny.
it'll go to the next story or like the one previous.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the? I don't get this at
You're
all.
you're out to
Somebody
lunch,
help
bro.
me, please.
You're out to lunch. Dude, my am I dumb? I'm gonna be honest. I haven't had one in like 2 or 3 shows. And you know why, dude? I'm not dumb right now. I am locked in. I'm locked into work. I'm watching financial videos during the lunch break of how to set myself up for the future. I'm eating healthy. First of all, let's talk about how good I'm looking. We'll get into that later. Now, do I have an addiction to Diet Coke? I had to get it out of the house. My am I dumb is this. I brought Diet Coke into the house. I brought a liter in.
Mhm.
A liter, a small liter.
A liter of cola.
A liter of cola, can of cola, and I'll be fine. If you know that reference, drop it in the comments. The goat. Um, and I said to myself, this will be done by the week. This will be done by the week. It might have been 75% done in the first 5 hours of being in the house. I mean, I had probably 3 to 4
Jeez,
16-ounce
that's brutal.
loaded with ice Diet Cokes. I mean, dude, my like if I like I have a dude, if you put a Diet Coke and a lime in front of me, first of all, this sounds like the most AA conversation of all time. Let's just make that clear. But if you put a Diet Coke and a lime in front of me, it's game over, bro. Like, there's no point of even asking me, can I get you something? Just keep bringing Diet Cokes and limes. We're clipping that section.
Not
Diet
bad.
Coke and lime all day. Here's the question to the audience. Do you do your Diet Coke, or do you get it with a lime or a
I've
lemon?
never tried the lime.
You
Never
never had
tried
it
it.
served with a lemon?
No, no, I might have to. Oh, with a
Then you get,
lemon, yeah, but not the lime.
yeah, but okay, so if you get it with a lime, if you go to a place with a lime, let me just tell you something. First of all, the bill is without a doubt going to be in the triple digits. Let's just make
Yeah,
that clear. Let's
yeah. I'm
just make
like,
that clear.
have you gotten looks at people? The waitresses are like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? Like, that's a total hardo move. Like, you're like, can I get a
A
Diet Coke?
lime.
with a lime,
with a
please.
lime, with a
Two
lime.
limes, two
Yeah.
limes,
Oh, dude, one
half
time I did.
salted rim.
I was at a bar one time and I said load the lime, and she said load it, and I said load it, and I saw her do 3 lime wedges. All right, let's talk schedules, dude, and let's talk.
Last one, real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah.
Last one, we're already done. It's been a couple weeks. I've got plenty. I was playing my freshman team for LaSalle. We got the state championship tomorrow. Wish us luck. Root us on. We're taking down Doylestown. That's what's happening. We're not underdogs. We're dogs out there. We're going out and we're taking it. But
Heard.
yesterday, Friday, we were doing a walkthrough. We had some of the older kids come back and play with us. School's over, but we had the varsity team come back and play. So I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'm hopping in there a little bit. I'm seeing the field well. I'm hitting holes. I'm hitting tip passes. But I go and I break through one, and a kid like grabs me from behind a little bit and like swings me down, and I like smack my knee straight on the turf.
Swings
Like,
coach. He swung coach.
yeah, bro.
Okay, okay.
It was a decent one too. He got me good. I was already, but I smacked my knee straight on the ground, and it's swollen, and I can't get up, and I can't turn on it, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh man.
yeah, that was an LA done
I
for
had the
sure.
same exact injury in like college too, where you like hit the ground weird
I
with your
remember that one.
knee.
Yeah,
But now that I'm 25 and a little older, it's just like I
it's
shouldn't be
hurting
doing.
more.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we got a friend of the show. We won't mention his name. He's given up rugby because he told me that if he gets another concussion, he's gonna have brain injury.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, when
Well,
you're
there's not
getting
much going on there anyway. His
no, there
brain's fully
oh,
developed at this point, though.
which is and his head is a battering ram. Let's make that
Yeah.
clear. That thing is a
Big forehead on that guy.
that is a battering ram. But friend of the show, friend of the show, friend
Friend
of
of
the
the
show,
show. Friend of the show. We
friend of the
can't have
show.
him on though because it'll just be like,
Oh,
you dumb idiot.
either
Like,
that or he'll sit there and we'll think that the screen is frozen. It's one or the other. It's either he can't get it out, he's mumbling, or he's just sitting there. It's like, are you alive?
all
Um, but
right.
yeah, dude, no, you got to be careful. All right, let's get into schedules and let's get into. We won't go deep into schedules yet. We're gonna save that for a little bit more. Maybe we'll talk about some breakout games, but we'll talk about the videos. We're talking about obviously it's becoming a huge thing for each NFL team. Hopefully they do something either in-house or they get a local superstar. I'm surprised that yours was really good, but I thought you might have done Shane Gillis. Ravens did Stavi, who has taken over the planet. Baltimore went to UMBC. Shout out UMBC. Shout out the dogs. Homegrown Maryland boy, comedian, absolutely loves the Ravens, wearing the patented 69 jersey. This is a PG show. We're not getting into that.
He didn't go into Ronnie character though, did he?
Yes, he
I didn't.
did.
Oh, I didn't
The
want.
whole
I didn't got a
character,
chance to watch it
the
yet.
whole character is Ronnie. And dude, it starts out with him and Harbs in the training facility in Owings Mills. And Harbs is like, I need you to get the schedule out. I will do this for you, coach. I've been waiting for this opportunity my entire life. And like he just goes right into it, dude. And it's so amazing, bro. He goes all throughout Baltimore to some of the best spots, best eateries, best things that you could do in Baltimore City, highlighting the schedule as Ronnie. And I love that the Ravens have really leaned into this local homegrown superstar in comedy who is absolutely taken over the world, been on some of the biggest podcasts in
It's
the
all.
world.
This is great
It's
for Stavi. He's the man.
he is the man, and it's awesome that. But what I love is that, like, we even had our head coach do the opening scene with him. It's not like, oh, we're just having it with a player. It's like the leadership of our organization is like, we are going to embrace this because we
Yeah.
know that this
No,
is a
that is cool.
Baltimore thing, and
Yeah.
I love that, man. Some breakout games. Obviously, we know off the top, you and I are 100% going probably with a decently sized group. Um, we're going to Ravens Eagles. We have a Ravens. First of all, we have a Ravens Eagles at Ravens preseason game and regular season game. Let's just make that clear. And by the way, last year during that preseason, we destroyed you guys. Just saying, and that's what matters.
Yeah. How
So
about all those running back ACLs that have gone in the preseason too?
we've got a we've got a December. We've got a
December 1st in
December
Baltimore. I
1st
want your
game.
take on this. This is what I like about this game. And when I saw it, I
Yes.
was just like, this
I
is
heard
good.
it.
This
That's
is
the
good.
clip you sent me. Yes.
The 425 start down there in
Oh yeah.
Baltimore in
That happened.
December.
Mhm.
Ravens will probably be wearing all black, or Eagles. One of them's wearing all black.
Yes.
Let's put that out there first.
Mhm.
That's gonna happen.
It's gonna be a
That
blackout
four
game.
that 425 start.
Yep.
It's gonna be the Eagles are coming off the Rams, but they got the Panthers afterwards. They're gonna go all out for this game down in Baltimore. It's gonna be a little hazy with all the stuff going on down there. The bridge is still settling a little bit. We might have to change up our commute to get down there, but and all of a sudden the electricity with the fact that people coming down from Philadelphia down to Baltimore, we're gonna come together. We're gonna meet. We're gonna have a extra 4 hours to party down there together as one, and then go out there and absolutely have a slugfest at 425. I love that 425 spot because 8 o'clock I feel like would be a little too much in my opinion. That
Yeah.
425 spot is going to be a classic middle of the day. Everybody's locked into that game, and we're gonna be like, holy crap, that was a great football game.
Can I tell you something, man? I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a slugfest. I think that that is going to be the Super Bowl from 2 years. I think that's going to be a 35-32 game.
Yeah, slugfest
It's
scoring
it
wise, or
scoring
yeah,
whatever. I think
yeah.
it's going to be an absolute offensive dynamic shootout from the running game to the passing game to whatever. We're going to two of the best, two top five quarterbacks in their prime going at it. Two backfields that can't be stopped. Two superstars that just got signed in Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. You're
That's
having
another
an
good part to
insane.
this.
You're having an absolutely ridiculous set of receiving core going after it in Mark Andrews, Dallas Goedert, in AJ Brown, Zay Flowers. You're going to have guys who are emerging more, guys from on my side like Bateman, right? Guys like you obviously have Smith. You give that huge deal to. Dude, the amount of just and then you've got two of the most dynamic quarterbacks who can do it from the arm and can do it from the feet in Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. I can't wait for that game, dude. We're going to get great content for our podcast from it. It's going to be awesome. But let's
We'll
talk
have to
about
do a
Ravens.
cold ones tailgate down there. Maybe we
I'm
get Philly
down.
drinkers involved and
Absolutely. So
yeah.
let's really quickly, let's talk about Ravens schedule here. I think it's absolutely top five hardest in the league, without a doubt. We've got some super, super, super heavy hitters. It's not a joke. Opening week one on the road against the reigning Super Bowl champions in the Chiefs. Now let's just talk about primetime games and primetime teams that we're playing. First of all, in the first 5 weeks of the season, we are playing the Chiefs, the Bills, the Cowboys, and Cincinnati. That's in the first 5 weeks. Then we've, on top of that, got the Eagles, who without a doubt should be the number one to number two team again in the NFC. We're without a doubt playing Texas, who again is going to be a great AFC team. And then, dude, you're looking at our division, and our division, I would still argue, is the hardest division in football. It just is. I mean, the Eagles right now should be winning the NFC East. The Chiefs should be winning the AFC West. The Bills should be winning the AFC East.
The Bills are that AFC
They,
East is going to be good.
it's going to be great. That's going to be the most dynamic. But the hardest to come out, though, I think the Ravens will win. You've got Joe
I don't know.
Burrow coming
Jets
back.
Dolphins is going to be tough for the Bills.
Dude, I don't disagree. I think it's going to be the most dynamic, and
But
I
no,
think that Miami should
I
win.
think the Steelers are going to be a decent team.
Yes.
They're not going to be great, but they'll be good. The
Yep.
Bengals are going to be really good, I think, with Joe
If
coming back.
if he can last.
And then the Browns, if what's his face actually stays healthy too and gives
Deshaun,
them
yep.
some semblance of an offense with Chubb coming back,
Big time.
also that
Big
defense
time.
is ready to go. It's a tough division for sure.
It's a tough division, but it's going to be a great season. I absolutely take the over an 11.5 win. Without a doubt, take the over Baltimore 11.5 and take the over Eagles 11.5. Take the under in Chiefs under 11.5.
Well, we're
Okay.
talking betting real quick. Do you know Derrick Henry's over under for rushing touchdowns this year by chance?
I don't, but I would take the under.
Yeah, there was because it was a big deal in Philly. It was like Saquon Barkley's over under. I'll fact check it, even though we don't fact check here, but it was like 6.5 on the year, or like 5.5. Something like you were just like, huh, rushing touchdowns. Like I feel like Saquon could get that easily, right? Or no?
6? That's it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pulling it up.
He
It was
could
something super low.
dude, he could get that in the first 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys
Now,
are
Jalen, I think, is gonna have his legs back and maybe steal some of those touchdowns from him. I think maybe that's where they're thinking, but 1,000 yards rushing. No, come on. Touchdowns.
Well, here, I'm going to jump in while you look that up. Can I talk
Yeah,
about
go
the
ahead.
Eagles schedule? Okay, Eagles schedule. Let's talk about it again. A team that I'm going to be honest here, dude. You guys are in a position here to really, really capitalize. Because I'm going to call it how I see it. You do not have the hardest to schedule this year. You need to have it in the tank. You need to go for it. Let's talk about teams that could actually give you some spurts of unhappiness. You're playing the Browns at home. You're playing the Bengals. You're going to split with the Cowboys. You know that you are. You always do division rival. And then you've
Yeah,
got us.
6.5, 6.5, minus 118.
You've really only got four teams. Now, I think the Rams have a possibility of winning the division. I'll give you five. I'll give you a possibility of five. You've really only got 4 to 5 teams in a 17-week series. Like you should be winning. The Eagles should win at a minimum 11 games, if not 12. This cannot be a 10-week season disaster how it was last year. You guys are in an absolute position to pop. You're going to roll the Giants. You're going to roll Atlanta. You're going to roll the Saints. You're going to
Yeah.
roll Jacksonville. You're going to roll the Commanders. You're going to roll the Steelers. You're going to roll Carolina. These are teams that you are playing. You need to capitalize here, dig down, get it done, not let all of your offensive opportunities get done on these easy teams the way that Dallas did. And you need to have your defense work through the trenches. That's where I see Philadelphia.
Yeah,
You're in
if
a
the
position
if
here
the
where you could pop late in season and dominate.
I agree with that. The late in season schedule is way softer this year at the end of the
Yes.
year with Panther after the Ravens game, Panthers, Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants.
Right.
Like divisional games, but the
That you should roll.
yeah, they've played the Steelers well the last couple years.
And Steelers are at home. At home.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the start of the year is going to be very ideal here. If you could get a win down in Brazil, I don't care how it is.
Are we going to
Just get
that?
what?
Are we going to that?
We're not going to Brazil. No,
Okay, keep going.
no.
We can't afford that
If
flight.
you
That's
can
the
get
truth.
that win down there against a good Packers team, I would like that game more if it was in Philadelphia. I would
Me
love the
too.
Eagles in that game,
Me too.
but that kind of is putting it up in the air a little bit in my eyes. But if you can have a defense, the defense is the biggest question mark for me moving forward. You have all this talent on the defensive side of the football, young talent and Davis and Carter and Nakobe Dean and the 2 corners you just drafted, and you got guys all over the place now. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Yep.
You got the Axeman back in the room. Like these kids need to start to step up and make plays for this team because all the veterans are starting to walk away. You need Sweat. You need Huff that you got from the Jets. You got rid of Reddick. You need these young guys to start to produce and become that next level top end talent that you have projected them to be. If they can do that and step into their own in years 2, 3, 4 for all of them respectively, this
Yep.
team is going to be filthy. The defense is my biggest question mark, obviously, just because we haven't seen it in the past where we've had staples like Slay, who's there, but he's older now. Like Fletcher Cox, who's retired, Timmy Jernigan. You've had Brandon Graham, who's older now. Like you've had these guys there, the veterans that you knew what you were getting from them. You don't have that really that much anymore.
No.
You got it.
No.
These young guys got to step up and play moving forward.
Big
And if
time.
they can do that in the early part of the year here, you should beat Atlanta. Home game, Monday Night Football, first
Yeah.
game. We're
Yep.
seeing Kirk Cousins again for the first home game in Philadelphia, which is outrageous. That's 3 years in a row now where they played Minnesota. They kill Kirk Cousins. Let's
Yeah.
do it again. And then you go to New Orleans. I'm going to that game down in NOLA too. That's going to be electric.
Are you?
Yeah. My uncle has bought. They already booked hotel rooms. Yeah, we're going. It's gonna be sick.
Screw you, bro. Keep going.
Yeah, you can come if you want. And
I
then
can
Tampa
tailgate
Bay
that.
always gives you
All
fits.
right.
Yeah, I don't like the early bye. This Eagles team is
That was the one thing that I was going to ask you is that's the one part, not to interrupt you, but I got to say this because that jumped out at me looking at your schedule when
week
I first saw
5.
the answer.
Ugh.
A week 5 bye is
Yeah,
not good.
you
It's
want to
not
know where
good.
I would have liked that bye? I would have
After the
liked it in
before
between
the
12 and
Ravens.
13, in between the Rams and Ravens.
Yep, exactly.
You have a bye going into the Ravens would have been nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but obviously you don't get that. But this Eagles team's going to be good. I really do think that. I think the offense is going to click. Now, we talked about the video a little bit, the announcement videos. I think they're corny. I think the schedule release is really corny. I think it's fun. NFL rules everything. Obviously, we're going to talk about it. But when you have a family member in a video, it's pretty sick. My cousin Sean, the Super Eagle, he has returned. He is back better than ever. He's going to be a part of the Eagles Nation moving forward. The Super Eagle has returned.
The
We love him
Super
back.
Eagle. The Super Eagle.
Oh, I love it. I sent you the video, and I love how intense he gets, and he's like
Yeah.
trying to act, and it's like kind of good, but kind of not. I told
Yeah.
Sean this, and I love him, and I'm just like, I told him, I was like, dude, what if you like were super intense like that, but then also you were like Deadpool, like kind of like casually like joking around, like super nice at the same
Yeah.
time, but then you're like,
Yeah.
let's go, like type
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
if everybody sees the video, make sure you go comment and say what's up to Sean, of course. But having him where the Ravens had a big person, where you're right, Shane Gillis would have been cool to have in this, but the real thing around Philadelphia is the fans. It's the super fans. They're a different breed, bro. And not just the super fans that embody all the rest of the fans. It's the culture, and those people embody the culture, and that's what this team is trying to get around. That mentality of the fan base where everybody has your back, whether through you're getting your asses kicked by the New Orleans or not, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs and Baker Mayfield, but we still think that you're going to win 13 plus games the next year. You
Right.
know, that's where this team has really got it a little bit and tapped into the mindset of, yeah, hey, you see the Cleveland Browns, what do you think about? And everybody has their one-liners and stuff like that. What do you think of the Carolina Panthers? Meow. Like stupid stuff like that. They got into the minds of the fans and to connect with the fans. It would have been cool to have some celebrities and this and that. There's plenty of them, but to really bring it back to the people that are there out there tailgating at
That's what
C6,
I love. Yes.
M-Lot, and everything like that.
Yes.
The people are out there painting their faces every single Sunday, some of them every day at this point, like
I really felt, but that's what I think is so cool is that I really felt that our teams leaned into that. And that's what, like having a guy like Stavi talk to our coach and then go throughout Baltimore is amazing. Philadelphia Eagles showing that your fans are literally nuts for your team and will die for your team, painting your face like war paint every Sunday. That's awesome. It's so
what
cool.
what other really like you have multiples of these guys that
Yeah.
are like not famous locally famous, but kind of famous nationally too. Like Jamie, the Philly sports guy, he's huge. All he
Yeah.
does is go to games now. Like, and he paints his face for all the different colors of the teams and stuff like that. He gets paid to go to games.
Yeah.
Like, what other kind of cities? Maybe others, but to physically get paid to show up and to be like, hey, I want a picture with that guy. He's the Philly sports guy.
The
He's the
only
Super Eagle.
the only
Like
thing that is
that's
like
a
that
that's a different breed, bro. Like,
is like college sports and no money is in that.
yeah,
For a fan, I mean, for a
yeah.
fan. Yeah. Like kids in the South, SEC football, they're always painting their face, but this is the NFL. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not talking about rookie ball here. All right. We're talking about going out there. This is Philadelphia Eagle.
It's awesome, bro. And you see him walking around the tailgate, the lots and stuff, and people just want to say what's up. And we're all about having a good time.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that.
I love it.
Hopefully, I've been talking with Sean and Jamie. It seems like we're gonna get some tailgates going in C6. So make sure you follow along. Hit the like button, subscribe. I think that's gonna do it for today, Harold. Good
Let's do it,
episode.
dude. Great
Good one.
episode.
It's been a couple weeks. We're back, baby. We're back.
We're back. The summer's on. Go O's, go Phils. We're leading the pack. We're leading the pack. We're holding it down. We're gonna figure something out soon for one of these games. Maybe we'll just go to a Phillies game then.
I
When they're
know we
playing
didn't
one
even
of the,
talk about it earlier,
we're,
but
and we
Rachel and
can't. We
Jake's
can't.
wedding, yeah,
And we
that's
can't.
tough.
So we'll
The
figure out a
O's
Phillies
weekend.
game.
Yeah.
We'll figure out a Phillies game.
Well, I'll be there right now. I'm heading right after I publish this. I'm going right down there. So
shout out the Ravens. Shout out the O's.
go Birds, baby.
And shout out all the kids graduating from Susquehanna today.
Hey,
Hold it
welcome
down.
to Dead, everybody.
Yeah.